Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today we're doing yet another time-lapse video. Today we're doing something slightly different than the whole village and castle theme that we've been going with so far throughout most of these creative time-lapse builds. Today I want to just have fun with the game. I wanted to just do something new and kind of unique for the channel here, something I really haven't tried for a very long time. And that is, we're going to be making a lighthouse and a shipwreck. I'm super excited about this one. I thought it was a really fun project to work on. It took definitely a lot longer than I thought it would. The reason why we're doing this one today, it's a bit of a shorter video if you haven't noticed already, is because I'm actually going to be out of town over the weekend, and the day you guys are seeing this video is actually the day I'm getting back in town, but I wanted to make sure that I still had videos for everybody for the channel here, so that there was something while I was still out of town. I wanted to pre-plan here a little bit, just to give you guys a little something here as we continue the rest of the series and things like that. I'll be back on normal here starting maybe tomorrow. We'll see if I can get another video finished or not by then. Anyways, today's build, as I mentioned, we are working on a lighthouse, and what's a whip time-lapse without me forgetting to turn off daylight cycle, so that was super fun. But building throughout this one, we were making like an ancient lighthouse themed area here. I want to make it look like it was built up off of these stones, with just not a whole lot of structure to it. It looks very ruined, and using just some very base block palettes for now of just stone brick to actually signify where the structure itself is, and that stone as the bottom as a rock that it was built out of the top, and then they reinforced it a bit there with all of the stone brick moving around it. And I figured we could have some giant windows of sorts going throughout the entire lighthouse structure, working our way up, so we still had like a middle floor. Maybe that's where the lighthouse keeper used to live or something like that. I threw some gray stained glass in there just to get a bit more color to it. Oh, I guess not color, just a bit more something in there than just being an open window. Now moving up to the top, I was struggling with the top of this one here. I want to make a big fire brazier, something that we could be able to see from all around because it's a lighthouse after all. But I also want to make sure that we had another point on top of this where we could easily see around, see everything else going on with this one. And I want to make this look almost like a crown. I'm not really sure why, but I was really dedicated to the idea of like a candlestick, but like a almost crown structured. So I tried to go with that sort of a theme on that ramparts area stretching around, and then really bringing that crown idea back in to hold here at the top as we're working around this one. Adding a few spiky bits going all the way around using the cobblestone walls there on top just to get a few more detail bits to this whole one. But one thing that I am actually really excited about on this one is what we were able to do with the fire. The fire is something that I had to think long and hard about, and then I was actually watching another YouTuber, Pixel Brew, smaller YouTuber, definitely should go check him out. He has amazing single player world. Definitely go check him out if you can. But I was watching one of his videos, and he's working on these giant air blimps, and he wants to have a realistic way of lighting the fire so that they can actually have some fire looking like it's holding it up. And it's hard to light multiple sides of blocks, but apparently the fence gate, if you light everything on the corner of a fence gate and then you can also light the top of it, it just looks like a convincing block of fire, and if you open it, things can actually move throughout it. Yes, this is only possible with game rule fire tick turned to false, so don't go lighting your fence posts on fire if you haven't changed that game rule yet, but definitely something worth using inside of your own builds. And I wasn't able to come up with this one myself, and I saw it through there, so I definitely want to give him credit on that one. Anyways, what we're doing right now is we're bringing that ancient feeling to this lighthouse, which I wish we had more types of stones and things to mess with so we can make this feel a lot more ancient than it currently is. But basically what I did is I brought in a bunch of cobblestone and andesite to our stone area at the base, and then throughout the structure itself I brought in a bunch of our cracked stone brick as well as mossy stone brick, so that we could get like a lot more just color variation going on in there. It's very subtle, seeing as this is a very gray themed build. I almost wish I had thought of bringing in some terracotta into the base of this. Now we're basically done with the lighthouse here, and we can move on to building up the boat itself. Very quickly though, I did want to make sure this looked like a rocky area, not just the lighthouse sticking up out of here. So I did turn the hill, like the cliff face that we had over there, into a rock area itself, and then built a few rocks coming up out of the ocean. Then if we're looking at where we're working on a mast over there, this is how I kind of envision building our sunken ship here. Is I want to build up the mast sticking out of the water so that we had something to go off of for that, and then we can jump back in here and build the shape of the hull off this one. There's doing a little bit of underwater work here. Unfortunately, shaders don't make that too friendly to be able to watch. But I want to do a full diagonal sunken ship here, or like ruined ship, basically a shipwreck stuck into the cliff face. Maybe that's the lighthouse went out at one point in time, and now there was a sunken ship, or there's a ship that crashed into the shore going around this little point in our area. I thought it was something fun to mess with, and building the boats on a diagonal actually made it a lot easier than I thought it would. And it's also a shipwreck, so the shape of this boat, like the hull of the boat, doesn't really have to be that perfect. We're able to make this up a lot as we go, which is really nice, and it's really easy. A shipwreck, honestly, is so much easier to build than like an actual boat itself. When I was working through this, it took a long time for me to get like the structure of everything down how I wanted to, and try and then bring it back in and make it look very ruined and very broken down, which is kind of something that I wanted to mess with and give ourselves a lot of characteristics to this one. So right now the shape of the hull is very basic. We're still just kind of planning everything out here, messing around with colors, and I ended up bringing some oak wood in here for the actual top of the boat, and so that we have some more believable area of where it looks like somebody was walking on and something like that. And then I reinforced the base underwater as well. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this one. I think it turned out pretty cool. There's a lot of little tiny details into this one, but it's a rather basic build overall. More or less, this boat is not meant to be like that central thing to be looking at. I wanted to really practice with here, adding one structure that's very highly detailed, as in the lighthouse here, and bringing that basically be the point of attention for this build. And then we have the sunken ship over here on the side that's kind of in the background, but still present for it. I thought that was kind of a cool idea to mess with having some places super hyper detailed and other places not so much, just to kind of direct the player's eye, or the player who's be exploring the world to be checking out certain parts of the world, maybe using that as a way to move people around. I think I could have done a better job on it with this one. Honestly, this build, I would probably say it's kind of like to like plus if that was a rating system on the levels of that you kind of have for the build. I did enjoy doing this one. I thought it was a lot of fun to be able to check out this whole area, and it was really fun, especially when I got into this part right here where I'm trying to make some ruined mass, because I want to make it look like the sails were really ripped apart. This boat isn't going anywhere, so the windows just ripped through the sails and completely shredded them. And I also decided to add in some vines hanging down off here, maybe some algae from the ocean or something is like kind of growing over here, like the nature is trying to take back this boat and bring it back into itself. So there's some vines hanging around, there's a few little things added in here and there, and I think with our flags hanging off the top there as well, and everything looking very rickety with these fences going all over the place, I thought it was something really, really cool that we were able to kind of incorporate into this whole build. And this more or less has actually been the entire build that I was able to squeeze in here. As I mentioned, I was going out of town, so I didn't have a heck of a lot of time to dedicate to figuring out this build here. But I did have a lot of fun here, and I'm really happy with the end result of this one. Adding in a few more rocks, I think what I would have added moving on top of this one is actually potentially bringing in some additional houses. Maybe some people who are living on the boat, they survived, and now they're living on the coast here because they expected somebody to live in the lighthouse, but there's nobody here. It's just this abandoned place where there's nothing really around it. Anyways, though, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Here's a few little eye candy shots as we're looking around this place. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit that like button, IRL. It really means a heck of a lot to me. Please hit that subscribe button if you are new, and be sure to be sticking around for the rest of them here, and I'm trying to buy some time as the video ends, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.